Hey, yo, Antagonist, you ready to be nominated for the Above Average Awards with me?
Heck yeah!
Whoa.
Hello everyone and welcome to the second annual Above Average Awards! John.
Are we ready to do the episode for Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens?
John, we're doing the Above Average Awards, not reviewing The Force Awakens. Alright, kicking off the second annual Average Awards. I almost wanted to say 2016 Average Awards or 2015 Average Awards because the Oscars, the title for their show is the year after the year that they're talking about. Are we doing that?
No, 2015.
2015 Above Average Awards, second annual. Okay, so kicking it off, we're going to talk about our worst movie of the year because we want to get it over with. And I would have reviewed my least favorite movie of the year because I want to talk about how much I hate it, about how much is wrong with it. But the fact of the matter is, if you saw it, you all already know. And if you didn't see it, God bless you. So my least favorite movie of the year is Minions. I had an honorable mention, it was Terminator Genesis, and technically it's a worse movie, but honestly, I was forced to see Minions, and it's... I couldn't fall asleep, but I wanted to. It's the first time I was ever sitting in a theater, and I just wanted to fall asleep, so I wanted to get it over with. John, get it over with. What's your least favorite movie of 2015?
Mockingjay Part 2.
Why do you say it so disappointedly, John? Did you hate the movie?
Well, there are only two of us, and tiebreaker?
Discriminatory?
Oh, sorry. Brandon, what was yours?
Well, guys, I guess it was Minions.
Well, it looks like we have a tiebreaker. Our least favorite movie of the year is Minions, unless are we doing like a average channel least favorite movie of the year, or are we doing like a your least favorite, my least favorite, everyone's least favorite, but not like all at the same time? My thumb just popped. Are we doing like an individual?
Second one. Yeah, individual.
Individual. Okay, so Brandon, I'm sorry, screw you. We don't really need you. I mean, you can still like say what your choices are, but I mean, we don't like need a tiebreaker or anything, so we don't have to like edit in pointless dialogue. Anyway, all right. So the next category, because we're kind of going up on our lists here, this is Best Surprise Film. Now, this is obviously not a movie that a movie choice that the Razzies are going to do or the Oscars are going to do. It's the movie that we thought was going to be terrible, based just solely on our own opinions, our own expectations, but it actually surprised us. And the movie could be good, or it could just be decent, and you thought it was going to be terrible. So my choice is actually The Martian, because I don't like Ridley Scott. Rightfully so. Hopefully most of you will agree with me. He hasn't made a good movie in a long time. Robin Hood was boring. The Counselor was a mess. Exodus, Gods and Kings had one good scene. Prometheus was just kind of good to look at. And, I mean, I was excited for the way The Martian looked, because Ridley Scott is a good visualist, but I knew the movie, he sucks, and a guy being stranded on a planet sounds really depressing. It sounds like it's going to be like dreary and dark and sad, but the movie was so funny, so well written, and really, I can't talk about Ridley Scott. I have to give it to Drew Goddard all the credit because he is the one that adapted the book to the screenplay, and he made it work, he made it pace really well, and Ridley Scott, giving his visual style to it, made it a great film, a really great film, and I thought it was going to be terrible, so I think it is perfect for this category.
Okay, so mine was Jurassic World, and while this movie, well, it's not like great or anything, in fact it's pretty much just like entertaining for me. I wouldn't probably go back and see it. I didn't. And
I did. I don't like it that much, but I mean... You thought The Martian was going to be good, so that's...
Yeah, I thought The Martian was going to be good, because Paul told me about it early on in the year, and I just came off of Interstellar, so, you know, I actually really enjoyed The Martian. Anyways, Jurassic World kind of blew me away, in which I thought it was going to suck, but it didn't. It didn't suck. It wasn't bad, and it wasn't particularly good. It was just entertaining.
But it looked so bad.
Yeah.
It looked so bad, and it made so much money.
Yeah.
It made so much money. And Minions made so much money.
Yeah,
Screw everyone.
But
But
His name.
I
Chris
would-
Pratt. He made it funny because he had that picture of like him on the dinosaur taking out the Avengers.
Oh
Yeah, that was funny.
Well, we don't want to hog up all the screen time.
All right.
Yeah, so, Brandon, what is your pick for a surprise film?
Very sudden because I was surprised at just how awful it was.
Alright, for our next category, we have Best Antagonist. Protagonist. Whoops. We're going up on our list, and I had Antagonist below. But it makes sense to put Protagonist first, because they're the people that we follow through these movies, and Best Protagonist is... It doesn't necessarily mean the character with the most depth. I'm not really sure what it means. It just means the character that you liked the most, or the character that was just like, oh my god, I'd love to hang out with them, or she was the character that you just wanted to follow so much, and you cared so much, regardless of the story, you would have loved this character as a person. That got kind of weird. So Brandon, we don't need you, necessarily, because we don't need a tiebreaker here, because we have the same choice.
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot, so why did you pick Mark Watney as your best protagonist?
Okay, so he was in this movie that in almost, like, if you think of any other person, like just you or me, would you be happy if you were stranded alone on another planet?
I would.
You had to do all the work. You had to do all of the work, and, like, you just... Everything, like, not everything bad, but like, just a lot of bad things were happening around you. This breaks. This just doesn't, isn't functioning. This isn't in the right place. This wasn't how you envisioned it. And you had limited food supply. He just was happy, and he just enjoyed his time there, and he made a bunch of jokes. I mean, the movie made fun of the fact that it was PG-13 and could only say one or two.
I thought you could only have one F word.
Yeah, I thought it was only one.
Then
two,
it said two, and I was like, are we
two.
supposed to be in here? Because I didn't actually check if it was what it was rated.
And he was
Oh, sorry, Brandon.
he was hilarious as a protagonist and just as a person.
As a protagonist. Yeah, see, I love him so much just because he's like, it's hard to describe this, but engineers, scientists, astronauts, whatever, like people who work in that field and just have to, build things, they're good at math and they love solving problems, they're generally just such positive people and they love what they do and they're so charismatic and they like telling jokes and they like finding the good side in all these different situations. I love looking at a character and saying like that, even in a movie, that is exactly what that character would be like. A good example would be, George Clooney in Gravity. Because like he's just, do you remember what he was like? He was just so positive, and he was just like, he's got the George Clooney voice, and he's just so like positive about everything, even in the face of difficult odds or whatever. I just love looking at a character so well written, as I said in my choice for The Martian being the best surprise film. It was so well written, and he was so funny, and he would exist in real life. He felt like a real person, and that's correct to the movie as well. The movie felt like real events. Anything else you have to say?
I guess you could call him Mark Witty.
I guess you could call the movie Watney's Red Planet. Do you get that joke? There's like a Watney's Red Beer. It's like a beer. Watney's Red Beer.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like yeah.
I'm gonna pretend like I still get the joke.
It's beer. And
Yeah,
it's like a Watney's Red.
Oh yeah.
It's a type of beer, but Brandon, what do you think of the joke? And who's your favorite protagonist?
I did not understand the joke because I am retarded. However, I did agree with you that Mark Watney is the best protagonist.
So next up, we have what is to the protagonist as the yin is to the yang.
The shoe is to the sock.
The peanut to the butter.
The jacket to the shirt.
The John to the kachingwo.
What? Wait, we haven't released that yet.
You suck at acting. Anyway, so, best antagonist. Let's go first. We don't rehearse these things.
Okay.
Want me to go first? Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
I got my list right here. And he's... You should know what your choice is!
I know.
Oh, you're looking at your nominees. We haven't been doing nominees.
Yeah.
My nominees for Best Protagonist were
No,
Eggsy
wait.
from Kingsman: The Secret Service, Imperative Furiosa from Mad Max Fury Road, and Adonis Creed from Creed. I just wanted to say my protagonist. We haven't done it. What's your antagonist?
Okay, so my nominations for antagonist are Kylo Ren.
What are you waiting for? You've got your list in front of you!
I only have 2 nominations.
Oh, I have 3.
Okay.
So,
Okay, my nominations are Kylo Ren from Star Wars and Tom Hardy as John Fitzgerald. I forgot the guy who played Kylo Ren, but that doesn't matter.
Adam Driver.
Yeah, him.
Who's the winner?
Okay, Tom Hardy as John Fitzgerald is the winner. Now, okay, so, like, as a villain...
Did you think he gave a better performance than Leonardo DiCaprio? That's a big debate that people are having right now. And personally, Leonardo DiCaprio's not a good actor. So, did you think he gave a better performance? You're kind of divided on this, aren't you?
Well, okay, so in the actual, like, setting and, you know, like, the actual, like, you know, movie or, like, the world of the movie, I think John Fitzgerald, or Tom Hardy did a better job.
He just, his eyes, he
He became John Fitzgerald. He delved into the movie's world better than Leonardo DiCaprio did.
He did what he does
Even
best. He completely changes his voice, and that's it. I'm kidding. He's like, we had a deal, Wes. Like, he just changes his voice completely. It's so awesome. So, are you done?
Well, I'll list some qualities of him. So, crap. Well, anyways, you go.
Alright, so John Fitzgerald is one of my nominees, as well as Richmond Valentine from Kingsman: The Secret Service. Now, my number one, before like a week ago, before I really started to think about it in a good way, I wasn't the biggest fan of Star Wars: The Force Awakens. But even when I wasn't, I am now. I do like the movie a lot. But even when I wasn't, Kylo Ren, he was obviously my choice. He is such a good villain. I remember going into that movie expecting him to just be, you know, the Sith, and he's like he's a big bad guy with 16 lightsabers that flip, and he's just so strong with the Force, and he's a flawless villain. He wasn't. He was a wimp. Did you see his face?
Yeah.
John? He's just like he's just. Ugh. I mean, I love Adam Driver. He's so good, but like he takes us out. He's such a wimp. He's like a little, you know, he's so thin and he's so. I mean, he's just. What I was expecting him to just be. Have the mask on the whole time and just be kind of intimidating because you never see his face and you never know what he looks like. And I'll admit, the first time he took his mask off, I was kind of disappointed, obviously, because I was expecting him to be that way. But when I start to think about it, Adam Driver, when the mask was off, his performance is so good and it's so subtle. Like, he's dealing with a lot of stuff that you understand. And that was one of the things I was divided on the first time I saw the movie, was I didn't really feel why he was divided. But that's because I missed a line that he said in the movie when he just out loud said, I'm being torn apart. I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. Right there, you understand. He's being pulled to the dark side, but he feels the call to the light. He's being completely divided. He has to do something to just bring himself completely to the dark side, but he can't. He's just completely divided, and we haven't really seen someone like that in the Star Wars universe. Now, we have with Darth Vader, but that was like in the last 5 minutes of his screen time. Kylo Ren, immediately, in his first movie, unlike Darth Vader, in his first movie, he was just like a big bad guy, and he didn't really do much. He didn't reach his full depth to The Empire Strikes Back. In The Force Awakens, Kylo Ren reaches extreme emotional depth, way more than I was expecting. And like I said, Adam Driver's performance was so subtle. And just specifically, my favorite moment with him is when he yells traitor. I don't know why. There are moments when he has a much better performance coming out of him in scenes. But when he yells traitor, that's when it hit me, when he was like, oh, he hasn't really yelled in this movie. He hasn't been over the top. He hasn't just been extremely intimidating. He's been subtle, and he's shown so much emotion just from just his eyes and just what he's going through. And you can see, even without the mask, you can see it. You can hear from his voice how he's divided when he's talking to Vader's mask. And I could go on forever about, like, he looks cool and his lightsaber's awesome and how he's a flawed character, so his lightsaber looks like that, and it's just, like, he's cool, too. Beyond the fact that he has emotional depth. If I was just a little kid watching him, I would love him because he's cool and he's memorable. I don't want to take up all the screen time. Are you done with John?
My favorite. Okay, so I'm actually going to talk about Kylo Ren a little bit. My favorite part about Kylo Ren, or scene in the movie with Kylo Ren, was when he he like has a lot of like rages and temper tantrums. It's just so great. And then like you said he wasn't intimidating by his like appearance, maybe like when he doesn't have the mask on.
Yeah,
but like aside from Darth Vader, like no one ever sees him without his mask on. I'm pretty sure the people on board, even the regular stormtroopers, know Kylo Ren. He's like super young. He's younger than them. Like they probably know what he looks like without his mask on. And then, well,
I'm not sure they know what he looks like. I think
they might not know what he looks like, but they know he's probably even younger than most of them.
Yeah, because they know like what kind
but
of
like,
he's from.
But like through his actions and like what he wants to be perceived as like he wants to be the next Darth Vader. He wants to even be better than Darth Vader. He just drilled his way into like our Star Wars villainry so well that like I think by the end of this trilogy, people aren't gonna have cereal boxes 30 years from now with Darth Vader, but they're gonna have cereal boxes with Kylo Ren on them from 30 years from now. They probably do now, but
yeah, he's memorable. He's just so memorable, and I like him a lot.
And I just like how he could do all that in the first movie.
And I love how when the stormtroopers failed him, they didn't just rehash what they did with Darth Vader, where it was like he would kill anyone who failed him. I like how they did something completely different, where he just like rages out on his little computer thing. I love that. I love that his character was so unique and different. But at the same time, he looks like a Star Wars character. He looks like someone that'll be on a cereal box right now and like
30 years from now.
Like the original Star Wars came out in 1977. You can go out and you can still buy a Luke Skywalker toy, and 30 years from now you're going to go out and buy a Kylo Ren toy. And we are starting to review The Force Awakens. Let's not do that. Let's Brandon, who is your favorite antagonist? So we can just get this over with and go to our next category. Who is your favorite antagonist from 2015?
I don't know.
Wow, that took like 8 minutes.
Yeah.
That last one took like 8 minutes. Alright, so next category, we're going to try and shorten this up so we don't have to do like last year and put them in 2 40-minute parts. So Brandon, keep them short this time. Alright, so next category, we have best moment. This can be a full scene, no more than a scene. This can be a full scene or just a quick second. It's just any movie, what's your favorite moment? Now, we're going to go through nominees. I have a lot of nominees. Don't talk about them, just go through them.
Okay. Church Massacre was one of them from
Kingsman.
Let's see. The McDonald's meal from Kingsman. Let's see. The Kill Your Dog from Kingsman.
Wait, how many do you have? Is that a standout or a best moment? Kill Your Dog from Kingsman?
Well, maybe not best, but it's a nominee.
Alright,
okay.
Keep on.
And I'll just keep it short now.
Don't do your favorite yet, because I think do we have the same favorite?
Yeah.
What's your favorite? Okay, we have the same favorite. Okay, I'm gonna go through my nominees.
We'll say the number one at the same. So say your.
Okay, so I got opening tracking shot from Spectre, Hawkeye's family in Age of Ultron. I didn't like Age of Ultron that much, so there were a lot of moments from there that actually like they're just the moments that made me feel something in that movie. And you got Hawkeye's family from there. You got I love the scene when the last Ultron bot and Vision are talking. I just love that scene for some reason. Vision picking up the hammer. Spoiler alert, but that was a great scene. Han Solo walking into the Falcon, the uncut fight from Creed, the death of Bing Bong from Inside Out, and the big moment from Inside Out about suppressing sadness, the big message. Performing surgery in The Martian, where he's just like, oh, God, like that's a way to get the movie started. Church Massacre. Suck Mike Johnson from The Hit Flight. Can I say that? I hope I can. Okay, so that's all my nominees, except for one, which is the winner. We have the same one, which is the bear scene from The Revenant. Oh my goodness, we gotta keep this short. Just to sum this up, I wasn't doing this in the theater because I was trying to watch it, but I just wanted to do this. Like, honestly, I wasn't faking it. When I watch movies sometimes, I try to make myself feel more than the movie actually does. The bear scene was one of the few scenes in any movie in the past several years that has made me just grip my seat and just be so tense and terrified. It was so well done. I love how they're not explaining how they did it. It was in one long take. The attack was in one long take, and the bear was obviously CGI. And Leonardo DiCaprio, he's going all over the place. He's being hit around. We don't know how they did it, and they're not telling us. I love how they're trying to keep that magician, just aura of mystery around it.
you see, like, this scene made me, like, grip my seat, like, how I was operated in a medical procedure. Like, I had the 2 armrests here, and I'm just like...
So you have a specific memory. You were doing this one time, and then you said it. It triggered the memory for you.
Yeah, I was just like gripping the seat, and I was like kind of cringing.
Don't tell them what you were doing when you were in the chair, because don't even say it.
Anyways, it's kind of like last year when I was like...
Have we talked about that on a video? Just a quick little thing, in Interstellar, I saw it once with Brandon a couple weeks later. I saw it with him. He was seeing it for the first time. When they went into space for the first time, I got him over to the left of me, kind of like how Brandon is now, where he just started going like this, like he was in space.
It was right when their space shuttle...
Oh, we're not talking about Interstellar. It was when they got off Earth for the first time. Anyway, bear scene, amazing sequence. I mean, The Revenant is an extremely underrated movie, and I'm sure we'll get more into that when we talk about our nominees for Best Movie of the Year. Brandon, what is your standout scene from any movie, anytime, anywhere, 2015?
I like this cereal.
Our next category is kind of a unique one for us because we're combining costume design, visual effects, makeup, hair and makeup, and production design all into one, where we named it Artistic Design. At first we called it Visual Experience, but we wanted to separate cinematography just because I've been obsessed with cinematographers, and some of the best ones this year have been... We'll get into that later. Okay, so Best Artistic Design. This is just the look of the movie overall. My nominees are an animated movie, first off, Inside Out. I just love the art direction, the look of that movie, the colors, it's so beautiful. And then Star Wars The Force Awakens, obviously the return of practical effects, just a big, lush environment of just way in the background, a bunch of aliens that never get their close-up, but they all have their own diverse costumes, and it looks great. And then The Revenant, which was just down to the visuals with the bear scene, and then the editing, which is very good, and then the makeup, when Leo was attacked by the bear, the makeup, I actually watched a video of this earlier today, where they had all this different makeup that took so long to put all over him. They had to put a fake foot on him because to make it look like it was broken. It's just such good makeup. Do we have the same number one?
Yeah. I'll name my nominees. My nominees are Star Wars, Return of Practical Effects. They were really good, by the way. In fact, it made the CGI in Star Wars Force Awakens look really just like
real. It actually looks real.
Revenant with like everything is down to earth and like actually real with no major studio effects, no studio lighting.
So nothing that you point out and say that's for a movie. That's makeup. That's CGI. None of that.
And my winner, which is your
Mad
winner,
Max.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Is this the first award that Mad Max has won first?
Yes.
Oh, well, that's kind of disappointing because the movie was so good. So what is artistic design? What did I say? Costume design, art direction. Honestly, Mad Max Fury Road, obviously a great action movie, but I gotta say, the action is equally as good as the look of the movie. The makeup, I love specifically the truck that they're in, and how on the roof you have all these different symbols on it, and then you have Furiosa's arm, which is the components of it are just made up of so many different little pieces from other things. It feels like a post-apocalyptic world in the best way, where everything is just kind of destroyed and it feels used and it feels lived in, and to make something, they took a bunch of pieces from something else and built up something. The whole thing looked like that. Every single piece, every vehicle, obviously the vehicles, and then the war boys, and then the everything, the motorcycles, everything. It just all looked so amazing, and maybe I'm just being biased because the cinematography and the action just hold up this movie so much that I want to talk about the art direction. But honestly, it's so amazing. We gotta cut this down. Brandon!
What?
Okay, so as I mentioned previously, cinematography, we separated that from visual experience, so that became artistic design. And then cinematography became its own thing, because in the last year I've been obsessed with some amazing cinematographers from their work in the past, like Emmanuel Lubezki, Roger Deakins, and John Seal, Hoyt van Hoytema, Robert Richardson. And all of these are my nominees. Robert Richardson for The Hateful Eight, Hoyt van Hoytema for Spectre, who did Interstellar, John Seal for Mad Max Fury Road, Roger Deakins for Sicario, and what are your nominees?
My nominees...
Do we have the same number one? I think
we have the same number one. I never actually wrote
so
down the nominees because I knew there was a clear...
Here are your nominees right here. Oh, you didn't see Sicario,
Sicario.
Didn't see Hateful Eight, didn't like Spectre. Here's the guy who did Mad Max Fury Road. There's your nominee.
Okay.
John Seal. Okay, so who's your winner?
The Revenant. And
What's his
this is
name?
by a long shot.
What's his name?
The cinematographer
Yes.
is
Oscar winner from 2013 for Gravity and 2014 for Birdman and hopefully 2015 for Revenant because this is his best work.
It was.
What's his name?
Oh, I know his name.
No, you don't.
Quentin Tarantino.
I thought you had his name written down.
No, I didn't. I don't have
I thought
any.
you did.
I don't
I
have.
thought you just didn't know how to pronounce it.
I don't have any of these written down.
Why not?
Because we didn't have enough time.
Say his name right now.
Emmanuel Lubezki.
Good job. Good job. Good job. Emmanuel Lubezki.
Oh yeah,
I mean Lewinsky. Emmanuel Lewinsky. Brandon, do you agree? Do you think he's you agree? You agree? Emmanuel Lubezki. He did the best. Did Brandon see the Revenant? No. I should probably just ask him. Right? I think he's kind of like he doesn't really feel like talking right now.
Ask him because he's kind of ashamed that he didn't get to see it.
I don't want to ask him though. I feel like he won't answer me. I don't want to ask him.
It's okay. We'll talk about it and then we'll get him later.
Okay. Emmanuel Lubezki, everybody.
I look just right, buddy. Ollie.
Alright, so. Alright, so. Best original score. This is the second to last piece that we're filming, but we're kind of re-editing it in because John hasn't decided. Because he has so many nominees to choose from, isn't that right? List your nominees, because I got so many. You better go first. How many? List your nominees, John.
I have Jurassic World.
You just said you only had one! I was segueing to the joke where you only had one
No, I
nominee.
said I only had two.
You said one.
I said two. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Jurassic World and Star Wars.
Thanks for
Force
listing
Awakens.
your number one before I listed my nominees. Oh, actually, my number one isn't Star Wars, so why is it your number one? Have you listened to it?
Not really, but
Okay.
wait, is the trailer music in the?
Oh!
Oh.
Alright,
I
so
haven't.
mine nominees, Johan Johansson for Sicario. I haven't listened to it completely, but I just remember I have listened to some of it, like the first song or two, and in the movie, it was, I don't know what instrument it was, I'm not an expert on this, but the sound was just, like it was, I can't describe it, but it was really good for the film. Also, Thomas Newman for Spectre, mainly because he got an Oscar nomination for Skyfall, and I did not like that score. I didn't think it was good at all. And it hasn't got one this year, but I like the score this time. Also, Chunky XL for Mad Max Fury Road. Very electronic and very repetitive, but just like it's just so exciting. Michael Giacchino for Inside Out, because it's very nice to listen to, you know? That was a joke because he doesn't. Henry Jackman for Kingsman: The Secret Service. Almost made it, almost. Michael Giacchino for Jurassic World. What's your favorite song from the Jurassic World soundtrack?
I will, hold on, I just want to say this.
I'm not even done with my nominees.
I didn't write down a lot of nominees, but I did really like the Kingsman and the Mad Max Fury Road scores as well.
So,
I don't really know my favorite movie score, but the one I would probably listen to, the winner I would probably listen to the most, on a daily basis.
is
Jurassic World. I just really like.
That was my number one at one point, but then
I just really, really like the main themes of it,
which isn't in it that much.
Yeah, but I mean,
You like the da 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 da.
all the music in the movie fit well. It was fun to listen to. It didn't feel like it didn't belong there. It just felt it's kind of like Star Wars music. It's grown so iconic that it belongs there. That's its home. And it's not really going to feel off if it's in the movie, because I know they use the Star Wars music all the time in all the movies.
Yeah,
just
but not that
everywhere.
much.
A lot of them seem really similar, so sometimes when I hear it, I think of other ones, and then I'm kind of completely
You're
wrong.
probably just thinking of the Force theme. They're all very different. Anyway, Jurassic World was one of my nominees as well, because I really liked it. I love the song Chasing Dragons and Bury the Hatchling. Hatchling? I don't know. And then I actually really liked the score for The Force Awakens. Obviously, like everyone, I was disappointed because it's John Williams, and he's the best composer ever lived, and the Star Wars music is the best music ever lived, and I love Star Wars so much, and it's my favorite music ever. So I was going into it, he's going to make another Star Wars score, and it's just not great. But there are so many things that I like, and actually, when we're talking about a good movie score, the best movie scores are the scores that fit the movie really well, and you don't even notice that they're there. Not because they're quiet, but because they just fit the tone really well. And John Williams, I don't have to have seen The Force Awakens. I listen to his score, and I feel like I know what's happening almost. He writes feelings and emotion, and just he writes the pacing of a scene in his score, and it's so good. And I love Kylo Ren's theme, I love Rey's theme, I love the Jedi Steps theme, I love the Falcon theme. Dun 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 dun. Hateful Eight. And Ennio Morricone for Hateful Eight. Everyone says Ennio Morricone is one of the best who's ever lived. It's like him and John Williams are the two. I honestly, other than the good and bad and the ugly, I haven't really heard any of his scores. But anyway, Hateful Eight score, all I can say is, if this movie had come out 20 years ago, it would be a classic right now. It's just one of those themes that, at the beginning of the movie, the overture, there's like a long period of no dialogue at the beginning of the movie where you're listening to the music. And usually when I listen to movie scores, I don't really like them when I first hear them. I'm just kind of like, okay, this is a good movie score. And then a few days later, I'll start humming it, and then I'll want to listen to it again, and then again, and again, and then I'll love it. With Hateful Eight, it played at the beginning of the movie, and then I was just like, okay, I get it, this is the score, and it's okay. And then no music throughout the beginning of the movie. I started humming it, and then it started playing more and more in the movie, and I was into it, and it was like I was watching the movie for the second time, and after I listened to the score, and it was so good, and it's just like, there's no big moments, it's just so low, it's like, it's so good, and so tense.
Who won?
What?
Who's your winner?
Hateful Eight.
Okay.
Ennio Morricone.
Sorry, you kind of were talking about Star
Look
Wars,
at this
and
guy,
then
Brandon! I said it so many times and he didn't get it. You Brandon, you're such a good listener. Let's repay him, John. Let's listen to him. Brandon, what was your favorite score of 2015?
Well, I really like
I should keep that in. Alright, so, not starting now. Next up, we have, on the Above Average Awards, Best Screenplay. Do we have the same one again?
Yes.
Yeah, see, we do have the same. I talked about this one earlier. My nominees are Ex Machina, even though I saw it a year ago. First time I saw it, and the only time I saw it was a year ago. Kingsman: The Secret Service. I thought it was really sharp. I've always said Matthew Vaughn is like a nerdy Quentin Tarantino. Speaking of Quentin Tarantino, The Hateful Eight. I feel like The Hateful Eight is obligated to win, but that being said, I didn't really care about that. It's still really well written, and it held my interest in just simple dialogue. So you know what Quentin Tarantino is like, you know. But The Martian, the screenplay for The Martian just blew me away. Because like I said, I was going into that expecting nothing. Not just because Ridley Scott, he hasn't done anything good, but I mean, the movie looked depressing. It looked like he's just stuck on Mars, and it's going to be all like, he's going to be crying every scene. But it was so funny, and I admire how he adapted, I haven't read the book, but I admire so much how Drew Goddard adapted the book to a screenplay so well. Because a book is long, and it's like, a bunch of pages, obviously. You gotta read through all of it, and you gotta make sure you get it right. But he brought it down to about 2 hours and 20 minutes, whatever it is. And it's so consistently funny and so well paced. I was never bored. Maybe a few too many scenes of just like music playing with him driving around. But that's it. It was so well paced and so exciting, and all that is down to the screenplay. Because it's back me up here, John. Why is it?
Okay, so one thing
You should back me up too, Brandon.
one big thing I liked about it was the writing for like both worlds, like the world of Earth and the world of Mars, because they used like real science in it. They incorporated that in it.
Right.
They incorporated like the characters struggling, not just Mark Watney on Mars, but like the crew who was kind of like in between Mars and Earth, and then like the NASA workers on Earth, and I forgot his name, but the
Jeff
character, yes, Jeff Daniels.
Don't talk about him. We're not talking about performance.
Okay, we're not going to talk about that, but anyways, just like he's just a shining example of like all the good writing
They
for
all
Earth,
feel real.
yeah.
People.
and all the good writing for Mark Watney on Mars.
That's why he's our favorite protagonist. Hey, you mentioned the science. I haven't read the book. Like I said, I can imagine the book explaining what's happening, explaining the science of everything, but taking pages and pages to do it. It might have not done that, but think about it. It's a big, long book. Think about it. If you're reading that book, can you picture, like, if something happens, the book takes a few pages to explain the science of what's happening? I could totally see
Maybe
that.
not a few pages, but like.
But it would just like it's a book, so it doesn't have to like worry about pacing too much. But a movie has to keep moving, or the good ones do. And The Martian just keeps moving, but it keeps you informed. You understand what's happening. And part of that is just down to the brilliant idea of the cameras being on and him sort of making it like a documentary, like him just explaining what's happening. That's a bit of an easy way out of it, but it works so well. And like I said, Mark Watney is our favorite protagonist. He's so funny, he's so well written, and it's so awesome. Do you have anything else to say?
Well,
I think Brandon has a lot to say on the screenplay for The Martian. I think he also agrees with us. Brandon, why do you think The Martian... No, I'm not going to assume that it is. I'm going to respect your opinion, Brandon. I'm going to respect your original opinion. What's your favorite screenplay and why?
The Martian, because it's good.
Alright, next one. Let's get right into it. Best supporting performance. I have so many. Now, I don't have that many. I have like 10, which is still a lot. And they're all contenders. Like, I didn't just force in some. There's so many. Josh Brolin for Sicario. Not everyone is talking about Benicio del Toro for Sicario, and he's on here. He's great. But Josh Brolin, like, everyone's saying, like, oh, he doesn't have too much to do. Yes, he does. Like, his character, like Mark Watney, he's one of those characters where I can look at the career that character's in, I can be like, yes, he would be like that. Josh Brolin was so good. I'm not going to spend that much time on everyone, but yeah. I just felt like saying that. Adam Driver for Star Wars Force Awakens, I was so good. Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight, and Walton Goggins in The Hateful Eight. Everyone's talking about Jennifer Jason Leigh, no one's talking about Walton Goggins. He was great. Sylvester Stallone for Creed. Everybody's heart is picking that, and I can understand that. Not the best supporting performance, but, I mean, everyone was so surprised to see his face move. Jeff Daniels in The Martian was great. Oscar Isaac in Ex Machina. He was a real standout. I loved him. I also loved Mark Ruffalo in Spotlight. He was a true standout. He was amazing. Do you want me to say my number one, or do you want to like?
I'll go.
What's your number one? We both have the same.
Let me keep going. Or let me say mine. I have Jeff Daniels in The Martian, Sylvester Stallone as Rocky Balboa, Samuel Jackson in Kingsman, and is your number one?
Yeah, we have the same one.
Yeah. Okay.
Tom Hardy in The Revenant.
My number one is Tom Hardy in The Revenant.
Yeah, we've already talked about him so much, but he just, first off, it kind of angers me that I can see people going to The Revenant and seeing Leonardo DiCaprio, and everyone just thinks that Leonardo DiCaprio is so good, and he's fine, but he's not he doesn't completely transform himself. Everyone thinks he does, and everyone thinks he's so great, and I can see people coming out of The Revenant saying, oh, Leonardo DiCaprio was so good. Who was that other guy? He didn't have much to do, but he did. His performance is, like, he doesn't have any of those scenes where he just goes at it and he's so over the top and he has to, like, just completely yell. He doesn't have those scenes where he gets mad, so he just wrecks a room and he goes for the Oscar. He doesn't have an Oscar nomination, by the way, which I'm very happy about. But I can see people overlooking it, so I just feel obligated to have him as number one because he deserves the recognition. Why'd you laugh?
Nothing.
Because I said obligated.
No, okay, so
I'm talking so fast. It's so good.
I don't think, like, people, like, Leonardo DiCaprio did an amazing job, but I think Tom Hardy, like, embodied his character a lot better. Leonardo DiCaprio, the character Leonardo DiCaprio played, could have been a woman, and it wouldn't really change the story much.
Mm-hmm.
He could have been a black guy, and it wouldn't change that much. He could have been a native who is Native American who can speak English, and it wouldn't have changed much. But Tom Hardy, his performance in that movie was just, it was his best. And even...
You haven't seen Locke.
Okay.
You haven't seen Locke.
I guess I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Locke.
From the movie, anything I've seen...
Actually. Keep talking.
Okay.
Keep talking.
It was just... He was just so good in it. Like, he embodied his character well. He delved into the story and the world. Well, it's our world, but anyways, that time frame, and, you know, as this kind of guy who's just got a lot going against him, and he just lost everything. Yeah, I understood him too. Like,
he's a guy that he doesn't have much to live for. He specifically says,
yeah, in the line, what life, I'm just living.
Yeah, so I kind of understood him, but he was so... His eyes, just something about him. He was scary, and he was so haunting, and yeah, he had a much bigger job to pull off than DiCaprio did. And I will say, he had a lot. Nope, I can't say that. This is off the topic, but Locke or Revenant. Locke, he had to carry the whole movie because he was just in a car. It was just him for 90 minutes in the car. But, I mean, you probably don't know about that movie, so I don't know what he's better, but Tom Hardy, yeah. Brandon, would you agree? Oh, he hasn't seen the Revenant yet. Brandon.
What is yours?
He hasn't seen Spotlight, he hasn't seen Sicario, he hasn't seen The Hateful Eight, he hasn't seen Ex Machina. Did he see Creed?
Yeah.
Did you see Creed? You saw Creed? Okay, you probably like Sylvester Stallone. Do you?
I guess.
Oh, I'm so excited. We're almost done with this, which means we'll be able to be done filming this, and then we can get it over with. We just have to do a good job at not wasting time, John! Okay, best lead performance. How many nominees do you have? One?
Well, written down, I only have two, but
okay,
I can think of one.
I can say on mine, okay? So best lead performance, actress, and supporting performance, all these just actress or actor. We don't discriminate. You don't have to say man or woman. It's just who gave the best performance. It doesn't matter.
Lead performance in general.
Okay, so I got Emily Blunt from Sicario, Colin Firth in Kingsman: The Secret Service, Kurt Russell for The Hateful Eight, Michael B. Jordan Creed, Samuel L. Jackson for The Hateful Eight because he was a lead performance. Okay, Screen Junkies. Charlize Theron in Mad Max Fury Road, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant, because, I mean, I kind of trash talk him. He wasn't bad. He was good, and he had a lot to do, but, I mean, he's not that great. Whatever. Do we have the same number one, John?
Probably, but...
Do we have the same number one? It's at the top.
Yeah, but let me say mine. Okay, I have Michael B. Jordan in Creed. Let's see. I have... I just don't have it written down. I'm sorry, people.
Why didn't you write it?
Oh yeah, okay. Charlize Theron is one in Mad Max Fury Road. I have Eggsy in Kingsman.
Egerton.
Okay. And anyways, Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant.
But the number one for the man who has had to pull off that role with the great script and the great surprise and the great whatever other awards we've given to the Martian. That's Mert Dermon for The Martian. What haven't we said already?
What happened we said about Matt Damon?
Well,
he's funny. He was great at his role.
And I think people need to understand that his charismatic, funny performance is a lot harder to pull off than people think.
Yeah.
It looked like people think that like, oh, he's got to show so much emotion. He's got to be so sad and so like that. If you don't show great emotion, then you're not a great performance. But he did. I haven't talked about this yet, but in The Martian, the movie is so funny that made the emotional moments so much more impactful. And when they did happen, of course, Matt Damon had to make them feel natural. One of my favorite moments was, this is kind of a spoiler. You've either seen The Martian or you haven't, but you kind of know that they're going to try to do a thing to get him off of Mars. And when that plan starts, when he thinks he's about to get off of Mars, he just breaks down. And I love how that scene wasn't, like, the music didn't stop. No one's talking to him over like a radio, and then the radio suddenly, for some reason, fades out, and it'll suddenly get all quiet, and sad music will be playing, and then he'll just start crying. It'll be like, oh, he did kind of cry. He broke down, but the movie didn't stop because of it. It kept going. It kept its pace, and that's what made his performance so subtle. Because those emotional moments, they hit me because the movie's so funny, and when the emotional moments happened, it surprised me. But when they did happen, it was just so. I can see why people wouldn't really notice how good it was because the movie keeps its pace going. But he did so good with them, and he wasn't over the top, kind of like how I said Tom Hardy was with The Revenant. He didn't have a scene where he just had to completely. I mean, he did kind of have a scene where he was just kind of like that. But I mean, that was, that was.
I liked how all of it kind of flowed naturally, like into a person who was, like living on this earth today, and then went. Yeah. Like, I mean, like there was an Iron Man reference in there.
Oh, yeah.
There was, there's just, like, he had to, like, take some of one of his partners.
Performance? We're talking about Matt Damon's performance.
I know.
Okay.
There was a part where he had to get his, one of his fellow members, like, things and use them to survive. So he had to, like, burn, like, a cross, like a Jesus cross, and... he just made, like, all these remarks, and, like, I liked how it was kind of filmed, he was kind of, like, filming a documentary to himself. It just gave you more insight to his
he's like
character and personality.
Most of the movie, he's got to talk to those really unprofessional cameras. That's part of the style, but it's he's a really great actor and he's done lots of big movies, but him having to pull out such a complex performance in front of tiny little cameras, he's got to remind himself that he's still on a film set and not doing a documentary, and he's still this character. So I've seen behind the scenes footage, and he doesn't seem like he's being like a method actor and he's staying in character the whole time. So that's really impressive that he just pulled it off in that environment, because it looks like such a natural, real place where it looks like he's like on Earth somewhere in a garden inside, just filming a documentary about potatoes. Anything else?
There was kind of a little bit of breaking the fourth wall, but that was with the documentaries. He wasn't necessarily talking to the audience, but he was talking to like people at NASA and at Earth who would one day get the footage he took, and I just thought that kind of flowed well. It like mixed in. He's talking to us, and he's also talking to people that he would want to show that.
That's down to the screenplay, the book, the direction,
It's
all that.
all amazing.
It's a great movie. Brandon, would you agree? Did he see Martian with us?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did. Was Matt Damon your favorite performance of the year? What's your name? Brandon?
Of course, you guys are right about everything.
This is it, ladies and gentlemen. We're doing best. Oh wait, no, best director. Good. Forget about that. Oh no, these are the people that. Did I really just start that off by saying directors? These are the people that make. Where this is the Oscars. You know what directors are. We actually respect our audience. We don't discriminate against you. Isn't that right, Brandon? Yes, it is. All right. So best director. I haven't chosen mine yet, and I have now.
I have my
I just
nominations.
did.
Okay, I'll say my nominations.
I just did. Don't say your number one though, because we have the same one.
Ryan Coogler, who directed Creed.
I had to tell you his name.
And he did.
I'm sure I did.
Matthew Vaughn, and he directed Kingsman. Alejandro Inarritu.
Oh,
Did
you
I say
gave
it
it
right?
away. Yeah, but you gave it away. We all know there's only two contenders for this, but
Yeah, Revenant and Jordan. Oh wait, yeah, it's all right.
Okay.
Oh.
Quentin Tarantino for The Hateful Eight. He didn't even get nominated for a screenplay for the Oscars, which I can kind of understand. But the movie was very well directed, and I think because Quentin Tarantino is known for making great screenplays, that people kind of overlooked that the movie looked great. I gave it a nomination for cinematography. It looked great, and that's partly due to Tarantino shooting it on whatever it's called, Ultra Panavision, I think. 11th movie to do that in history. J.J. Abrams for The Force Awakens. At first I didn't have him on there because J.J. Abrams, I'm just like, oh, it's J.J. Abrams. His style's always like that. It's always what, Ben? It's always well made. It's always has really interesting camera angles, and it's always so just Spielbergian and lit so well and just exciting. Yeah, so there you go. I also put Sam Mendes for Spectre just because the movie, not perfect, but there's some great scenes, big, wide, long takes of beautiful action and just amazing stuff, whatever. George Miller. Yeah, because it was down to Alejandro Inarritu for The Revenant and George Miller for Mad Max Fury Road, which like I said, I just chose just now. The Revenant, probably a better directed movie, but I mean, George Miller, how long did it take to film Mad Max Fury Road? It was filming way back in like 2012.
Well, okay, so they had a lot of setbacks. Like they were gonna film it in like somewhere in the Middle East. No, actually, I think they had some of the ideas in like 2001 where they were gonna film it in the Middle East, and then for like an oil war, and then the oil rush happened, and then so he kind of stopped that, and then he went to like, didn't he go to a desert and it had like its first flood, or is that Star Wars?
I didn't hear about that.
I think that's Star Wars episode.
I don't know. I didn't hear about that.
Anyways, I'm pretty sure there was some kind of setbacks.
Oh, I mean, look, The Revenant had a lot of setbacks too, so I'm divided now. But, I mean, George Miller just reinvigorated the action movies of today. He reinvigorated the Mad Max franchise. And
he brought me into Mad Max. Like, I would not have watched the other Mad Max.
And you wouldn't have watched this one if you didn't know about the video game. Didn't you
I knew about the video game. I thought it was cool,
like
but
his beard.
that wasn't the reason I watched this. You told me about it, and I was like, Cars Apocalypse.
Cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, but when I'm talking about best movie, we're talking about the direction, and George Miller just had to. I love how it's been nominated for Best Picture for the Oscars, and it's the fourth movie in a franchise. The Revenant is going to get nominated for Best Picture. But when you have a 4 slapped onto a title, now it's not actually on the title, but technically it is. It's the 4th movie in a franchise, and it's been nominated for Best Picture. Has that ever happened? When a sequel to something gets nominated? I don't think that's ever happened before. So, probably has.
Probably has. What are you talking Lord of the Rings?
He did a great job directing it. We can talk about Mad Max Fury Road in another category. So I think Brandon.
Who is your favorite director?
I don't know. Everyone is the winner.
Ben, it's time for the best movie of the year.
Wow, you're so excited! You didn't even let me sit down before you started talking. This is amazing, John. What is the best movie 2015? Oh.
Mad Max Fury Road!
Ah,
oh, it's
this
so
movie was
good!
incredible! It was so good! I cannot believe how excited I am to turn this movie. It was just... It's everything I want an action movie to be, guys. Mad Max 4 broke... Okay, that's alright. Obviously, okay, nominees. Okay, let's just say, like...
Okay, yeah.
Okay. I had 9 movies this year that I loved, but really there's only 4 movies that were kind of, not really, but kind of switching around, like, any of them could have been it. Inside Out, like, I had it on the wrong section. I had my artistic design thing up, so I saw Star Wars and I was like, what? Where is it? Why do I need to look at this? Inside Out, not you, but me personally. The Revenant and then The Martian were like the 3 contenders, but I mean, it's Mad Max. I felt like I knew it when I saw it. It was just, it's so interesting because it's a big action sequence, but it's paced so well. I remember seeing it. Now, my one flaw with the movie is that at the beginning of the movie, it doesn't really set, stop making noise. Oh! That was my copy.
No, that was my copy.
No, that was my copy. You're borrowing it. You gotta buy your own. So, what was I saying? My only flaw with Mad Max Fury Road was the first time I saw it, when the first 10 minutes I wasn't really into because it didn't really set up the character of Max, and I didn't know who to latch onto. I didn't know who was the character that I was going to be following. Obviously it was going to be Max, but I didn't know why I should care. But then the film started moving, and then I knew why I was supposed to care, because it's so well made and it's so exciting. And Mad Max, he is constantly in danger, and he is constantly just being attacked by these people, and they're always on the run. Him and Furiosa, who is an amazing character, they're always on the run every single second. They're always moving. The movie is always moving, but it's paced so well. One of the things I loved about it most was the first 40 minutes. It's like a big action sequence, or 30 minutes, more like. And I love that when you look at the trailer, the big sandstorm thing, it looks like that's the big climax of the movie, you know? It's not. It's like the end of the first act, and when it ends, it's like the end of this huge action sequence, and that's the beginning of the movie. It's a big action sequence, and when it ends, the next shot is Max, and he's like in the sand, and it's just him slowly coming out of it, and it's just such a slow shot, and it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, that action sequence went on for just the right amount of time, and then it stopped at the right amount of time, and then the movie slowed down. It lets you catch your breath, and it just keeps going at a very well pace because it's so just clever, because after that it's just him. He's like, there's so many different problems that he's facing. Like, he's handcuffed to Nux, and then he's just like trying to get him off. He picks up a gun, tries to shoot off his hand, but he can't because the sand's in. He's like, so then he tries to bite it off or something, but he can't. And then he sees that, there's the Furiosa, she's got her truck, that's my way out of this desert, so he has to pick him up and then go over there and then try and get some water, and there's like kind of like a standoff, and then they have this amazing fight. It's always moving, and I loved it. You can talk now.
Okay, Mike. Okay, so, I'll say my nominations, or top 4.
Wait!
I have to say my top 4 at least. The Martian, Star Wars The Force Awakens, The Revenant, and Mad Max Fury Road. This was actually kind of close.
Really?
Between The Revenant
For me, it was
and Mad Max
Inside
Fury
Out,
Road.
Revenant, Martian.
But, I knew it was always going to be Mad Max, but it's just because the other movies were so really, really, really good. But Mad Max,
It didn't have anything important to say. It was so simple. Like, I just remember watching it being like, what did I get out of that? Oh yeah, it's because it was an amazing experience, and the 2 hours flew by, and it's so simple. It's like every movie that's coming out now is just, it has to do something. Like all of them have the trailers that have that generic epic music, and it's gonna be this epic experience, and then all of them have like one or two clever lines, and then it's like, okay, this movie's gonna be important, it's gonna be amazing. But Mad Max was just like, here's one of the best action movies you've ever seen. Doesn't have anything important to do. It's not feminist propaganda or anything. Here's a movie with a good story. Not a good story. Does this movie have a good plot, John?
Well,
yes, it does. Everyone says.
Everyone says
it's so thin on the plot. It's so thin on the story. It's a great story. They're constantly on the run. That's a good story. It is. It is.
For this world,
it is.
Great
Brandon.
stories are not going to be like a conflict between nations or like.
There's no symbolism.
There's no like. Well, there is symbolism, but
no.
But
like,
it's not trying to be a book.
It's not like Avatar.
It's not
like
trying.
a cycle.
Yeah, it's not trying to be a book. It's not trying to be a speech. It's trying to be an action movie,
It's so simple.
and it is perfect as an action movie. And along with the action movie, it has like it's really not that unique, but like its style is unique.
Cinematography. Jason Seal? John Seal? Oh crap! Keep talking!
Okay.
John Seal.
The world in its style, the characters in its style, like even like the different contraptions that aren't the vehicles, like the woman's arm, or not woman, Furiosa's arm, the radiation suit and mask that Morton Joe has.
Warrior!
The
So
guitar guy.
much creativity. Every frame has so much imagination and so much diverse art direction, and it's glorious. What else can we say about this, honestly? I feel like we already reviewed this. We never reviewed this. This is the first time we're talking about this movie, so I gotta refresh myself. What haven't I already said what haven't I said yet on a video? Growing up, some of my favorite movies were Indiana Jones, and even before I knew why movies were good or why they were the way they were, just growing up, one of my favorite scenes in any movie ever was the scene in Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, when Indy's on the horse, and then he's riding up to that truck, and then gets off the truck, and he's trying to take those guys out, drive the truck, then he gets shot, and he's like, and then he gets thrown out of the windshield, he punches that guy, and then he's under it, and then he's hanging on it by a whip, and then he's climbing back, and he's beating some more guys, and he's going on top of it, and then around and back into the truck, all in one big action sequence with a truck running through a desert. This movie reminded me of that, but it was like a big version of that. This movie utilized secondary action so well. There was always something else going on that made it more interesting. There was always like, this is probably why Mad Max has a knee brace, because it's like an extra little thing just to hold him back and keep him restrained and make it interesting and make him rusty, and it just did that so well. Like I said, with him having the mask on him the whole time as well, that was a good thing too. Throughout these big action sequences, he's always got a mask on, this really tight, this tense thing that you can almost feel
only
on
for
your
like
face.
not for like the first act. He gets it.
Not towards the. I thought it was more. Oh yeah.
He gets it off because it's connected to the chain of the War Boy.
This got too quiet. Let's just talk about everybody they were on big poles, and they were just going like, and they were just dropping down on the top of the truck, and then they would pick them up, and then they just go, and then they would fly across the frame, and like over here a big car would be blown up, and they go, and then he would be going, and then the ground is right there, and he's just, his head almost hit up, and then he flies back up, and then onto the truck, but it's not his truck, it's a different truck, and then he has to run across the other one and back. It's an awesome movie. Is there anything else to say? I like that movie. Did I break the CD? Where is it? Did I break it? This is where you say whatever you want to say, John. While I'm looking for this DVD that I clearly know where it is, but I'm pretending I don't so you can talk.
Alright, so if Ben didn't already make it clear.
Yeah, sorry, Brandon.
The action in this movie is just great, but it is the focal part of the movie, but it's not the only reason this movie's great. It's not just an action movie that's only great because it's great at being an action movie. It's just like the whole blend of the package, like maybe the villain isn't so like
Joe!
If
Joel.
maybe he's not thought out, maybe the main characters aren't like, interesting and you clearly will tell how they react and what their personality is and their backstory. It doesn't need that. It doesn't need that because it's style, it's world, it's characters, it's, different factions like competing in this apocalypse that is like centered around cars. Like if you have a car, you matter. It just did it so good.
And every time they pick up a steering wheel, they do this first. They make like a V8 sign before they pick it up, and they review steering wheels like they're religious, and like they have to oh, I have a steering wheel. Oh my goodness, steering wheel! Yay! Yay, Mad Max!
It's just
so good. I should write a review for this, but I'm not because I don't care.
if you don't watch it,
I will be disappointed.
I will be
in you.
disappointed.
Don't make this 2015's Edge of Tomorrow.
Do not.
It's out of theaters. It's out of theaters. Go buy it.
Buy it. This
there
is
gonna
like $20.
Is there gonna be another Mad Max movie? I hope there is.
I think there is, but it will probably be with a different actor.
Why?
Because
Tom Hardy's so great.
well, yeah, I know, but I feel like that's what they want to do. Because at the end, he walked
understand.
away in the crowd where he kind of blended in with the
I
crowd.
like Tom
But
Hardy.
I like Tom Hardy.
I
as
liked
Mad
him.
Max.
He was subtle. Like I said, everyone was like, "Oh, Charlize Theron overshadowed him." Yes, she did, but Tom Hardy was good. Tom Hardy was so good.
Just watch it. It's the best movie of 2015, hands down.
Right, Brandon? What's your favorite movie of 2000 whatever?
Kingsman. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Screw you all.
Thanks for watching, everybody, for the 2015 Above Average Awards. Sorry it was just me and John. I actually think John's watching Mad Max Fury Road right now. But it was just me and him. Paul was preoccupied. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe, but I don't really care if you do. You watch the video either way. And aim for average. I don't punch the camera.
Help, somebody, they're destroying